Hey, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. First, I want to do a shout out because y'all may not realize this, but for some reason, this podcast is being listened to by folks down under in Australia and New Zealand. And also, it's being listened to in the Great White North Canada, where I have many friends in Canada, not as many in Australia. And then, awesomely, also in the UK, including Ireland, Scotland, and the UK itself, England. But what is interesting to me is I don't see Germany, so that my people are not followed. Problem. People just don't care. I'm totally impressed at the intellectual curiosity of folks from other countries because I understand that we're a train wreck. I understand America is like kind of good sport. I bet we're worth betting on. Holy crap, we must be great if you're a wagering person. But I have had actual feedback from folks in other countries saying they're really appreciating, understanding what's going on here from, I'm not going to say a normal person because I don't quite fit that category, but like a regular rank and file person, like a regular person who has to conquer this stuff as a citizen, which is clearly how citizens in other countries operate. We have people there that are intellectually curious about how things work. That's a good thing. I wish everyone is intellectually curious. That is my gift to humanity because that alone would change everything. But we aren't all, but people listening to this podcast are. So you're already special. And so today I'm coming to you as the person who yesterday wrote this thing because like, I was just dead, DED, dead. Like after the weekend and after fainting and after heat and after everything. And of course, coming home to Santa Cruz where it's still hot because what we're doing now, and I don't even dare complain because I'm on this edge of my seat watching Florida right now. I'm scared to death for Floridians. It's really Tuesday. So even though I'm going to mark this as Monday, it's really Tuesday because it took me a whole day to recover yesterday. But here's what I realized. I was getting down by Sunday after looking at the news and seeing just more and more Elon jumping and Elon looking like a ketamine, I don't know, like a ketamine nefarious bad guy, something like a Bond fiend, right? And I don't even watch a lot of Bond movies. I'm kind of a Roger Craig guy myself. Although, if you get me drunk enough, I will do a Sean Connery accent for you. Imitation. It's very bad. Very, very bad. But the point is, after watching everything on the weekend and coming home so physically and psychically exhausted on Sunday night and Monday, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, listen to yesterday's podcast because I explained it there. I really felt like I realized, I mean, one of the reasons I fell is my resilience was gone, right? And if you don't know about resilience, we're going to talk about it today, but this idea of resilience is important. I talk about resilience a lot in my cybersecurity jobs because resilience means in a cybersecurity setting, it means that if you get hit by a ransomware attack or a DDoS attack or some other kind of attack, you have the ability to come back online. This is incredibly important if you can imagine for things that provide services, banking, any kind of thing where it has almost like a utility factor for us and it can just be knocked out and it can't come back online. That's a lack of resilience. And that's a big deal. And what we're seeing is a lot of companies are not investing in resilience. They invest in cybersecurity insurance, which basically says we're going to pay the bad guys. It's just now how fast we can pay them. That's not what we want to do. Remember, we don't negotiate with terrorists. Remember that? Remember that was like a thing? That used to be a thing. I don't know what happened to it. But anyway, I'm talking about resilience. I'll get out of the cybersecurity resilience. But the point is that resilience is a very, very, very important personal um ability that we have. I don't is it a strength? I don't know what you'd call resilience. It's like part of who we are. It's one of our secret ingredients. So let me take you through it because I did prepare some stuff about resilience just to set it up if you're not familiar what it is, and then why our personal resilience is under attack, how you can know if you're feeling attacked, and then what you can do about it. That's basically what I've laid out here because I think taking care of us at this time is as important as going out and doing the work. And you can't do the work if you're super sad or if you're ending every night with like 3 extra puffs on the vape or something because you just can't take it anymore. That's not a healthy way to deal with this. A healthy way is to go get a salad. I'm saying this because I'm talking to myself. Go get a salad, eat the salad, then maybe take a short walk and visit your neighbors. That's a healthy way. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about resilience. I do not have anything for you to watch today. So you can just close your eyes or drive, whatever you want to do, and just listen to the point and see if you relate or don't relate. But it's really important. If you are a Harris Walls warrior, we need you to take care of yourself. And I'm speaking to myself as much as I'm speaking to you. This is coming from the heart, and this is designed to really make sure we all get to the end of this election, which is in 1 month now. We're down to day, well, see, I'm reverse engineering this. So we've got less than a month. It's happening. It's happening now. So this is the care and feeding of us and making sure our resilience is tough. All right, here we go. It's going to sound more formal because now I'm not just yapping. All right. In today's landscape of political turbulence and rapid fire information, it's hard not to feel exhausted, right? The challenges keep coming: misinformation, racism, eroding women's rights, the seemingly unchecked power in the hands of individuals who use it without regard for public welfare. Oh, that's right. Yesterday, SCOTUS said, for sure you can kill women. Women who are already alive are not as important as cells that are not yet alive and birthed. You can now kill the woman. You absolutely can in Texas. She does not come first. The baby inside of her comes first. So we have officially in Texas reached host status. We are absolutely what the aliens are looking for to breed there. New reams of aliens. Just use us women. That's what we are, brood mares. Sorry, simple. Figures like Elon Musk or entities like Project 2025 fuel the fire, which critical decisions hang in the balance, with the Supreme Court facing accusations of bias and a Justice Department struggling to keep pace. Living amid this barrage can leave anyone feeling frayed at the edges. So you know this is one of my very, very core beliefs. Fear and intimidation is a GOP tactic, a strategy and a tactic. They want to do it strategically so that they know who they're targeting with the fear, and then they want to use it as a tactic by pounding it into us every single day. I'm going to give you just 3 pressing examples that work like this heavy weight weighing on us, pushing down on us and demotivating us. These are on purpose, people. These are all part of the same damn plan, which is to allow America's wealthiest to take over our country, remove the rule of law, and accept the rules they want, which is a lot around execution, which is perverse. They also want to go around our banking system. I've documented this in my podcast. If you haven't listened, go back, go listen to crypto, go listen to the pods about how they want to change our federal agencies and what federal agencies are doing for you today. Go look at how well our government serves us today and how it's going to change with Project 2025. I've covered all of this. It's annoying for a podcaster to say that to you. I know. I'm just saying there's a lot of good stuff out there for you to really grok the big picture. But right now, the big things that they're doing to, frankly, just crush us like bugs psychically is the Project 2025 and those policy impacts. So that's the policies that are going to reshape the federal government, basically strip down our federal agencies, including FEMA, which happens to be a hot button last week and this week as Florida sits on the edge of disaster, which I'm terrified for Florida today. Those addressing climate change, here's who they would target: those addressing climate change, environmental protections, and civil rights. Not going to worry about the ones, the rich people that are serving the rich people, but those that serve us, they want to remove all of those things. Please don't scratch my chair. The framework's sweeping changes have sparked concern in its implementation and would roll back democratic safeguards, leaving Americans feeling that fundamental rights are vulnerable to policy shifts and prioritizing power over public welfare. That's the deal here. They want power. They don't really care about our welfare. I mean, it's in the plan, guys. It's in the Project 2025, the mandate for leadership. It's called a mandate. If that doesn't piss you off, don't mandate, man. You've already mandated no abortions, and I'm pretty testy about that. In fact, that's the next thing. The Supreme Court decisions on women's health. Remember, this isn't one decision. They didn't just overturn God. Then they gave the power to the states. Then the states went rogue, and those state Republican governors who are essentially misogynistic assholes who give no F's about their citizenry. They don't, because none of these rules help their citizenry. Not one of these help their citizenry, if you think about it. These rulings have left women across the country questioning the future of reproductive rights and healthcare access. We have doctors have left states. That's a big deal. And if you're a jackass on Twitter saying they can just leave the state too, no, you first. That's all I got to say. I don't want to hear one more stupid, dumbass comment. And I know those are all Putin puppets, but man, does it get old. It's just so old. I can hardly tolerate this level of stupidity anymore. And then the last thing that's basically impacting all of us, if you are on social media, and that's a choice, but I like to know current events. I'm hungry for current events. It is the rising misinformation on social media. And that's platforms like X, formerly Twitter. I want Twitter. I only use Twitter, just to be clear. That's how psycho I can do it in my head. I only use Twitter. And I continue to behave like a Twitter user, and I'm not a jackass. I might swear, but I'm not a jackass. So it's leading to misinformation, which contributes to political polarization and confusion around issues, including election integrity and public health. Guys, the stories about election integrity are enough to make you weep. And if we didn't have Mark Elias, we would be in a world of hurt. The one thing I like about Mark Elias is A, he's a great communicator, and B, he is able to prioritize and triage the cases that will have the greatest impact and go shut those down as fast as possible when it comes to election interference. That said, we got a lot riding on one guy. Now, he's got a great office, and so don't anybody think if you take him out, that's going to do it, because that's not going to how it works. This man he's resilient. He's backed up. There's a plan to go forward without him. So he is resilient. So if you're committed to promoting democracy, equity, and justice, these times might feel especially challenging. Such an easy sentence to write, right? The constant confrontation of issues threatening our rights wears on even the most dedicated. But how do we continue to fight if we're kind of losing our energy and our drive and our commitment? The answer lies, I believe, in understanding and building resilience. So it's essential for Democrats right now to be resilient. It's helpful to look at resilience from different perspectives. And it's true. I really feel like this might help you get what resilience is if I compare it to other things. So resilience isn't a one size fits all. It takes on distinct meanings depending on the context. So a human is resilient in one way, an object is resilient in another way. And then there's this whole idea of an agency or a government being resilient. So let's talk about those things. A government might be similar to a business, an entity of collected humans, but I chose government because that's what matters to us right now. So when we look at how those contexts work, resilience shifts based on those. It's still the same outcome, but how you think about it might help you understand what I'm talking about when it comes to yourself. So as each aspect has nuances, but they share this common goal: to endure challenges without breaking down. That's exactly what resilience is. You can endure without breaking down. This weekend, I screamed in that truck so loud because I was breaking down and I knew my resilience was low. That's why I just sat with this word all weekend. I'm like, I have no resilience. So when I fainted and fell, of course, I have no resilience. I had nothing to fight heat stroke at that point. I had set myself up so badly. And yeah, I'm going to take responsibility for some of it because I just didn't manage myself very well in extreme heat and with the task. I should have had help. We should have done it in the morning. I mean, there's so many variables we should have done, right? But that's resilience. I didn't have any, so I wasn't even solving my own problems very well. And that's why I wanted to talk about it today, because I think it's an important thing for us as campaign supporters. So if you're talking about resilience in an object in the physical world, resilience describes an object's ability to return to its original shape after being stretched or compressed. So if a rubber band, when you pull it, it stretches, but when you let go, it snaps back, right? It's not unbreakable. You could break it, but it's designed to withstand a reasonable amount of force without losing its structure. This kind of resilience reminds us about adaptability and durability without being invulnerable, but it lets us flex and recover under pressure, right? So think of that rubber band. It goes out, it comes back, and then it recovers. You could break it. You could break us. We could be broken, but we don't want to get there. I want you just to notice that the rubber band goes out, the rubber band comes back in, and it restores itself. That's a kind of resilience. Think about that as a metaphor for us. In government, resilience is really about stability, continuity, and the ability to respond effectively in times of crisis. right now, with what's going on with these two hurricanes, is a brilliant story of governmental resilience because they know they've got to keep running no matter what. In fact, if an earthquake were to hit Washington, D.C. and hit the FEMA offices where a lot of the command and control is going on, they have to be able to get back to work immediately. So that's how resilience matters when it comes to governments and services. And this is really important because governments can weather shocks like economic downturns or natural disasters without collapsing. Do you get how key that is? In many ways, we see Ukraine exhibiting amazing resilience because they just keep getting beat and beat and beat, and they keep coming back. I hold out hope for Palestinians who are showing amazing resilience right now because the citizens, the non-terrorist citizens, are having to keep enduring despite just being bullied to death. I mean, I'm not very competent in talking about this, but I really have a problem with people being killed for no reason. So yeah. And then there's this idea of, so those are governments and institutions. They're supposed to be, sorry, I forgot one sentence here. The most effective governments have structures that allow them to absorb change, maintain order, and continue serving the public. In fact, during the Trump administration, what we saw was a lack of resilience. Trump had already removed the pandemic preparedness people, all the emergency preparedness people for pandemics and things. He took all those people out. So we didn't have resilience when it came to being ready for the pandemic. Then he gave the whole job to Kushner, who then farmed out crap to people that were preferred. He managed that. There's a great book, and I apologize to the author right now because I've read the book. It was all about what happened with masks and what happened with all the BS, the money, the grift, the shadows, the criminality that happened during the pandemic that still prevented us humans from getting what we needed. And it was all Trump and Jared. And it's a book. It's great. I'll find the book. I got to find the book. It's a great book. But the deal is a government's supposed to be able to do that. And at that time, Trump had already dismantled enough of the government that he wasn't able to do that. Okay. And with polarized politics and public distrust, building resilient institutions is critical. That's just like a no-brainer. So when it comes to human resilience, personal resilience is the capacity and the ability to manage and adapt to stress, adversity, and trauma without losing hope or identity. I'm going to read that again because I know about this because of the trauma angle. This is a skill that we talk about in trauma therapies and in supporting each other, is the ability to somehow weather stress, adversity, and trauma without losing hope or identity. That's a big deal. Unlike objects or institutions, humans have the advantage of emotion and memory, allowing us to reflect, adapt, and change. Resilience helps us stay connected, maintaining faith in our values and striving for a better future, even when times are disheartening. This is why resilience is important. It's that little person, it's the little engine that could. You remember that story when he had to go up the hill and he had to say, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. But there he goes. There's a little engine. He thought he could. That's resilience, just your ability to get back up. And that's how I felt Sunday night. I'm like, I give up. I'm done. I don't want to do any of this. Every part of my personal life right now sucks so hard. But I really enjoy doing these podcasts. I really enjoy talking with you. And I enjoy staying in touch with what's happening in the world because for some reason that really matters to me. So if you're passionate about protecting democracy, women's rights, equal rights, racial equality, living through times of turmoil can be really draining. You might feel more frustrated or less hopeful and even overwhelmed when your resilience is kind of faltering. The spread of misinformation, particularly on platforms where you might see it on social media, can intensify the stress. I knew I had to turn off Twitter for a while, so I did. With fewer content controls, I think he's speaking directly about X at this point, misinformation can spread rapidly, leaving users overwhelmed and distrustful of the information they consume. I'm sorry, I'm laughing in my head because did you see what Elon Musk's mother tweeted? Two spectacular tweets this weekend. The first one is she just told everybody to go do something legal. She jumped on one of Elon's, posts to 200 million people or whatever it is. She jumped on one of his and said, What you need to do is register 10 times in 10 different towns and vote 10 different people in 10 different towns for 100 votes. She like said people go do that. That's what you should do. That's illegal, totally illegal. But then the second one tweet she had, and she got mad because sometimes you can't make this stuff up, guys. She got upset because the picture of Elon jumping, that one where he's jumping up into the air and just looks like a wingnut. She got really upset about that and said it's not something like, now I'm paraphrasing, something like it's not fair to tease a man who has developmental issues. Swear to God, I am not lying. You can go May, M-A-Y-E, May Musk. Just go look up. I think you can Google May Musk tweets and see what Precious has put out there. I believe her illegal one may have come down. I'm not sure, but it's definitely been captured. Will comment in perpetuity. But I'm just saying social media, Twitter is a joke, or X is a joke right now. Twitter's still what I love, but X is a joke right now. And just see that it's Elon's mom jumping in and just whack-a-doodle squared is amazing. So now, okay, now I want you to, you're sitting, if you're listening to this, you're sitting and listening, maybe you're quiet, maybe you're driving, I'm not sure where you are, maybe you're running and taking care of yourself, good for you. I aspire to your greatness. Here's how you're going to recognize the signs of low resilience. If you have these things happening to you and you're kind of like, why am I so this or that? This might be a sign of low resilience. It's essential to recognize these because that's how you know your resilience is starting to get thin. Think of it as beefy and stocky and strong, or thin and wimpy and permeable. If it's permeable, things can get to you, you've got a permeable resilience right now. So here's some of the signs. I want you to think about these. Do you have irritability and anger? With reduced resilience, even minor frustrations can trigger outsized anger and straining relationships with friends, family, and coworkers. I related to this and I did cancel some things because I thought I'm not good company. Increased illness. They didn't say the ability to faint, but chronic stress weakens the immune system, making us more prone to colds, infections, and other health issues. We do not want you sick. If you think you're run down, wear a mask. We do not want you sick at this time. You need to be able to vote and you need to be able to be out there and move this energy forward. We're doing something here. We're going to fight. We're going to win. Isolation or clinginess. Now, this is really key if you notice it in someone else. This is a big reveal. Some people withdraw from socializing when resilience is low, while others may seek constant support and find it hard to function independently. You might want to watch for that in your kids or partner. If somebody's getting a little clingy, you might want to dig a little bit and find out what's going on and how they're feeling. Mood swings, emotional highs or lows. That's me, the original psycho podcaster. Difficulty controlling reactions are common signals that resilience is wearing thin. For sure, I was emotional this weekend. And now I've slept like 2 amazing nights and I've hydrated like crazy. Today, I feel much more grounded and in myself. But for sure, I was really having a hard time controlling my reactions. My poor daughter, she's a hero. She had trouble too, but she was far more adorable when she had her issues. Trouble sleeping, insomnia, or disrupted sleep cycles often arise when resilience is low. That makes sense. You might be fighting demons in your mind. You might just not be relaxing enough. You may have some anxiety. If you are in a place where marijuana is legal, I will tell you that one edible can very much take the edge off that anxiety. In fact, ask your, they're not called baristas. I don't know what cannabis experts are called, but ask them because there are some cannabis concoctions that are very, very good for constant anxiety, and you won't have any hangovers like Xanax or other medications out there that deal with anxiety. It'll just fix you for about 6 hours. You'll get a good night's sleep. And hopefully you'll have a great day the next day. So that's trouble sleeping. I always recommend trying cannabis and edible first if you can, if you have access. And then hopelessness or lack of purpose. A lot of that lately. Feelings of disconnection, making it hard to stay motivated and grounded. It's funny because the thing that I didn't feel over the last 3 days was grounded at all. And when I think it was today, like I called my daughter and I go, I feel it now. I feel like I finally got grounded again. I just felt like the heat and everything made me feel like everything was up in the ether and weird. So that's the list. Let me just read it one more time really quick. You probably were thinking about it. Irritability and anger, increased illness, isolation or clinginess, mood swings, trouble sleeping, hopelessness, or lack of purpose. If you're feeling any of those things, your resilience might be taking a hit. So I want to tell you why you need to maintain your resilience and build it back up. It's so important right now, maybe more than ever, right? I love using that's hyperbole right there. Now more than ever. First, we need you. We have one more month and we can do this. We need all of us. We need us. I need to get it together. Like I committed to doing something for 100 days. I needed to get it together. We all need to get it together. And I did promise at the beginning of this podcast when I said 100 days for Kamala Harris that I would try to keep us motivated. And I want to keep us motivated because it motivates me. So first we need you and we have one more month. So I know we can do this. And then you guys, we can just go brain dead into the holidays. Even if it's whatever it is, whatever the outcome on the election day, and we know it's going to be a mess, we get to celebrate Thanksgiving after that. We got to have our fall leaves up and our pumpkins and everything. It's time. So let's just make it to the election, okay? Second, maintaining personal resilience is challenging. Sorry, say this again. Maintaining our resilience in challenging times means surviving the stress and staying engaged in what matters. So our resilience allows us to continue engaging meaningfully. So that's the second reason we need you to maintain your resilience. We want you to be able to communicate thoughtfully and contribute to these causes without succumbing to burnout. So it's a check-in, right? 30 days, we're checking in. Are you going to be able to keep going? What do you need? Do you need to take a day off? Do you need to take 2 days off? Take them, because you've got to get back in this. Just work on whatever you need to do to care for yourself. Third, the reason you need to build up your resistance is we can't let them win. Putin knows how to divide us. That's evident. Woodward's book, we know. Putin's right there. He's got his minions shit posting everywhere it is. Trump and his merry band of thieves also know how to do it. They know how working overtime to generate fear and confusion is what they're going to do. So we have to care for ourselves because we have a fight that's so important. Trump and his merry thieves just know how to divide us. They're going to just come at us and come at us. They're trying to divide us over FEMA. They're trying to divide the people who have been ravaged by disaster versus those that haven't. Fuck all that. I'll just say it as candidly as possible. This is the United States. I care about those people in my United States because it belongs to all of us. Our United States means we care for one another. I even sadly care for the Trump supporters there because I figure they don't know what they're doing. There's got to be some reason they keep supporting Trump, and it's not intelligence. So what the hell? People I don't forgive are the leadership who know better. And then finally, the reason I want you to take care of your resilience is that we need to take on the harsh realities around us without feeling hopeless. That's what Kamala is doing a great job of doing. And Tim Walz too. We can stay committed to our values, navigate these challenging conversations, to stay grounded in our sense of purpose. If we have a resilient mindset, it lets us connect with others, avoid falling into despair, and push forward with a sense of control. So here's the deal, guys. Now I'm just going to tell you some steps to nurture your resilience, because you know what Kamala says, when we fight, we win. And there's a 4-year-old saying that to Kamala on a video clip on the internet somewhere, and it's so cute. It is so cute to hear a little 4-year-old say, when we fight, we win. Okay, here's how you can nurture your resilience. 1, stay connected. Swear to God, that's why I do the podcast, to stay connected. I don't have a huge social circle here. I have a social circle. It takes work for me to get there, so I'm lazy. So I'm not seeing my friends like I should. But I feel community here. I'm staying connected. Even listening to a podcast like this helps you stay connected. That's pro you. Building a network of people who share your values is building that network is essential. And relationships help buffer against stress, offering companionship, advice, and a sense of unity. Social support is critical through friends, family, or groups with shared goals. My poor daughter's boyfriend, I call her, sometimes say her husband, just because they've been together so long and they are such a couple. But for the first time ever, I called him. Katie was working like a beast outside loading that truck, and I was dying on the floor inside the house. And I called Katie's boyfriend and made him talk me down. Talking about staying connected. I think I told him, I go, well, you walked into the frame. You held yourself with me. That was pretty damn good. And you got me out of my stinking thinking. So congratulations, you just passed another critical test without even either of us knowing that's what the test was. So yeah, stay connected. It can be an old friend. It could be on Twitter. It could just be something that where you feel like you have some people who care if you're there. Then find a daily purpose. This one's a challenge for me. The podcast has been huge because as I look for jobs, I mean, that's a gross daily purpose. Job hunting is the worst daily purpose ever. So finding the daily purpose of me doing this podcast has been good. What is yours? It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be this aggressive. It just needs to be an activity that brings fulfillment that can renew your resilience each day. So it could be volunteering, supporting your community, setting a personal goal, anything that provides a sense of achievement and momentum. Just wants to give you a little nutrition, a little feed. What's going to feed your psyche? What's good for you? Finding a daily purpose. Recall on past strengths. This is a good one. You know, I always argue past behavior predicts future behavior. Well, it's the same concept. If you can recall how you faced difficulties in the past and what strategies worked best, these can be really good. You could write them down. I'm thinking I might need to journal a tiny bit more, mostly for this kind of thing, to remember what I've been able to do in the past and to remind myself of what I think is another thing that's going to come on here, which is gratitude, which is something that does help you remember there are good things happening every day, even though the climate's ending. And I'm sorry, let's go to my catastrophizing, even though we're all going to die. Yeah, gratitude journal is a good thing. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But there's your past strength. So what's a time when you've gotten through something like this before? And literally, when Kate and I were struggling, we took one break and we were like, "Look, we've done way worse." We actually did the self-talk. It's funny that it's in here as a tactic because it was absolutely something we did as we were, instead of fighting with each other, which would have been the go-to thing to do when two people are miserable trying to do a task together. We chose not to fight. Instead, we went back in time. That's back in time. All right, prioritize self-care. It's more than a catchphrase. It's an essential practice for resilience, and it includes things like what I've been doing the last 2 days: rest, nutritious food, and relaxation. A little physical exercise, some meditation, even some creative pursuits can all reinforce a resilient mindset. I will tell you, it is hard to crochet with a broken finger, but I went from a heavy yarn to a very light yarn just so I could have the comfort, the soothing comfort of the crochet. The finger's pretty messed up, but I could still do the crochet. So those are the kinds of things the self-care is very good for you. And if you have been putting it aside or going, I just don't want to, you might want to. You might figure out if you want to again. Give it a try. Just even feel the thing you're used to feeling or whatever that is. Go approach your hobby or your anxiety release. Embrace change. That's a big one. If you are rigid in your thoughts, you're going to have a harder time being resilient. Resilient people are adaptable. You want to be resilient. That is a survivor's quality, to be resilient. You want to see change as a challenge rather than a threat. And I got to say, I can just speak for a moment about embracing change. One of the things that broke my heart when we went up to the place in Sacramento, this is a house I bought for the trial. And then I had Katie live there because she was going to school up in Sacramento. And so, but the reason I bought the house, the whole reason I bought the house is that in the backyard, you could sit there and it had a view of Tower Theater, which is on the corner of Broadway and 16th in Sacramento. You can Google it, Tower Theater, Broadway and 16th. Well, from my little tiny yard, I could see that tower. And it was everything to me because I went to UC Davis for undergrad and Sac State for graduate school. And I hung out at Tower Records, which was right across the street from the Tower Theater, which is the backyard of our house. The old Tower Record lot was our backyard. They're building a new building and they've blocked my view now. It's on the second floor. It's going to go up to 5, which is ridiculous compared to my tiny little single family dwelling that's right next to this 5-story monolith. That made me really sad. And I had to say, I'm not embracing that change. The change I'm embracing is letting go of being sentimental about it. I had my time. I was there for the pandemic. I lived there during the pandemic, so I got to sit out there and enjoy it and have memories and tell my daughter about it. So I'm just going to let go and keep my sentiment. I'm not romanticize it anymore. So that's embracing change. Staying open to new ways of thinking can help you navigate new challenges and avoid getting stuck in frustration. Not this weekend, but generally it can. And then take action on what you can control It's easy to feel powerless, but focusing on what you can do, even if it's small, can build resilience. Whether it's contributing on a cause, helping someone in need, finding a way to participate in local government, or small actions to reinforce a sense of purpose. It doesn't, you don't have to be wear a cape and go out and answer when the bat signal goes up. That's not who you have to be. It's as simple as maybe helping a neighbor or making sure you check on neighbors if a hurricane is coming. It's that kind of stuff, guys. It's the connections that we all used to have with one another. And then, but you got to know what you can and can't control. I have a little problem. That's a Jen Carroll problem. I don't want to control a lot of things. I want to think I have the power to control a lot of things. I want to think it. And then practice, there's the last one, of course, practice gratitude and hopefulness. And that's where I think I'm selling myself short. I just need to spend a little more time here, finding positive moments in the day, even amid the struggle to help renew my outlook. And keeping a gratitude journal or taking a moment each day can help build emotional resilience. And it's true because the glass doesn't always feel half empty, right? You start to see the half full. And I'm generally an optimist. But even this weekend, I'm like, I'll be my optimism was about coming home. I'm like, we will come home. That's my optimism. So really quick, I'm going to go through this list, just read off the bold again, really quick. If you want to help yourself, here's what you should be doing. Stay connected with humans that you like. Find a daily purpose. Reflect on past strengths where you've gotten through it before. Prioritize self-care, including eating, sleeping, and just meditating and doing things you enjoy. Embrace change, take action on what you can control, and practice gratitude and hopefulness. Stay engaged and visualize the Harris Wells wins. Don't get lost. These are challenging times, and resilience is more than a shield. It's a force that allows us to stay involved, maintain hope, and look forward to a better future. By building resilience, it doesn't mean we're ignoring pain or struggle. Look, my finger still hurts, but I'm not ignoring it. I'm just developing the inner strength to keep striving for change while caring for myself and each other. That's really what we're trying to do, is we're just trying to find our inner strength and take care of it. Resilience will fuel our journey forward to a future that's worth the fight. You know what that means. Go Harris, go Balls. Let's go win this, people. I'll be back for another blog. Come on. Thanks for listening, everybody.